So hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna develop another mental model that can be useful for you. That is the mental model of putting to work what we already know. Then it's where it shows the real power of having information, getting studies. That's so when you apply in real life problems. So what is what is something so that you want you to understand is that obviously so I think the goal of learning all these mental models that I've been talking about this channel is when so you put them and you apply them in the real life problems that you face. It's where so you have more type of value is when so you apply them. And what's gonna be the type of solution that you're gonna so develop is a one for it's like the energy crisis, if you could call like this, that we're facing in the world. So how to deal with that? So what's like the first way that you have to understand is that what is the problem that you're really so facing is that. So what you can say is that 1.3 billion people they lack electricity while the rest face soaring bills and blackouts. So the energy crisis feels a bit endless because it's not just because or because it's so much higher in terms of bills, or because exists a lot of people don't have electricity, or because the ones that have it and produce it, they're producing so a climate footprint that's not something particularly generous. And then so what we're gonna try to understand is so how to design a system that makes so having a bit more being more a bit more sustainable so in the for the world the consuming of energy. So the problem is we have 1.3 billion people that lack reliable electricity. The fossil fuels still supply 80% of global energy, but fundamental. Is fossil fuels something bad? Not. It's bad what they do. That is so them to contribute to make it so the electricity they require so spreading CO2 for the atmosphere. And the climate also that's something that I've talked right now. The energy production so that drives 73% of the global CO2 emissions, and so obviously the problem that comes with that. But then so the first principles it breaks the status quo when we look for more fundamentals. And so the question is what is energy actually for? So what is the characteristic that energy is like a stored type the energy so could be it's like a way that you make the things work, and then so you rely in creating them. But the reality is that the energy you just rely in making by fossil fuels, not in reality you can make it for the solar, you can make it for the wind, you can make it for nuclear. So we have different ways to arrange energies. And what you have to understand is that what we look for selling for people, and the people they choose a lot so what the market will produce. If the people some of the produce in relation with other ones, that ones is so what's going to be the ones that are going to sustain in market. So probably fundamental truth is that if you want some specific type of energy to be more adopted by people, probably you're just going to have to incentivize this. You're going to have to make it cheaper for people to consume, because in terms of electricity people praise more the price and a bit of the tendency of providing so the quality that they do need. But in reality, the price defines a lot. And the reality is that we have the coast collapses or these more new type of energies that are made from the wind, from solar. And the reality is that we have a coast collapse. For example, the solar panels are 88% cheaper since 2010. So what's inside is that the problem is in scarcity, because the solar energy that comes it's a lot, so it's something that's almost infinite. That's why we say that's renewable. The wind we have as well. The wind it doesn't never gonna finish. And even the nuclear, if it's a bit more dangerous, the reality is that the nuclear, in proportion, probably is even the one that by each unity of what we take and what is needed is the one that produces more energy. So neutrons get the neutrons so collapsing the energy that they release. It's like astronomically big. So your problem isn't scarcity; it's probably some more how we're able to handle with, particularly with the nuclear, that release a lot of concerns about this usage, and it's as well a bit more in terms of the distribution and storage, not just like the sources. So we probably will have to look more for how to make the distribution and storage being more effective. But then, so obviously for that, if you want to manhandle this system, you have to look for the system, so adopting the system thinking, having the mapping, so the energy web. So what is the current system that we have? So probably now the most common is like 70%. We have the oil coal that so is burning centralized grids, and then also decentralized grids produce the electricity that goes for the cities. And reality is that we have waste because the energy is created, some of them is dissipated, so neither every one of what we create is used. So we have like a 30% loss in transmission. So what are the pain points that you can have? You have some of them. So ones that subsidize these type of resources that we see that are great solutions. So the fossil fuel subsidies are still too high for what so we would like them to be. It's like around 6 trillions a year globally of subsidies for the fossil fuel, and the aging infrastructure that so becomes less efficient this transmission of between the burn coal that for so to this energy that is so transmitted for the war that becomes to a point that obviously makes the turbine to work. Uh, what so the real world fix is probably go for the Germany's energy window so shifted to 50% renewables in 23 probably, so it's where we have to do so, creating incentives to people to transition for this renewable energy because they're so clean, they don't tend to create that much of pollution, mainly the solar and as well the winds. The nuclear, we still have certain type of it's a bit dangerous still if you look for some events. If it's not manhandled well, it has a higher risk to so create something bad, while the fossil fuels, they are more a type of bad thing, but that attacks just like slowly. Then if it goes bad, it can really go bad, the nuclear, if you're not manhandled for the things that are like after the usage of these components, they so have the radiation that obviously so it's difficult to deal if you're not specialized and if you don't follow some protocols to make it safe for everyone. But obviously, so by being renewable, for example, in regions that are normally the ones that don't have more electricity, like Africa, one of the regions that have more in terms of sources, the most rich, and that's the solar one. And so we have solutions. We have seen that the sources are probably the diversification of sources is probably the best way to solve the real problems that comes with the way that we explore energy today. That's mainly pollution, and so being expensive. If the resource tends to be so more have more in abundance, it becomes so more cheaper for people to use. Uh, we can use a bit of lateral thinking, so still from nature to attack some type of solutions from this problem. With inspiration that you can take in nature, the leaf photosynthesis, so to create biosolar cells, the space tech, the NASA's wireless energy transmission experiments, and decentralized grids like the Tesla's power wall, more solar roofs. That so makes the home as mini power plants, and blockchain energy trading like the power ledger in Australia. And obviously making the game, the system, incentive design. So a problem, fossil fuels are cheaper short term, which so makes incentive to people to buy. So what could be solutions? And a lot of people do today. The carbon taxes, so make polluters pay, like Sweden's makes it have as a tax, particularly for that. Gamify the savings, apps like Believe reward users for cutting energy usage, and universal energy grants like the funds Solar Wind in developing nations, example the Kenya's 90% solar assets. So this is what could be actions and ways to act. What's Solarity integrated solution? Decentralized power, microgrids, more rooftop solar for remote villages like the Indian Solar's Mammoth program. We have to rethink to storage, so sad batteries like store heat in sand used in Finland, more hydrogen fuel cells. We can have a policy overhaul, so end fossil fuel subsidies like redirect funds to renewables and mandate green roofs or urban buildings, example the Toronto's law, and behavioral nudges, so human rights, for example. adjust energy use in real time. So the example, the Google's DeepMind reduced data center energy by 40%. uh, I think these videos make you gain certain insights if you were decision making in one of these areas. I hope this helps you so to gain creativity, not just use the things that I've been talking, but using the mental models in other way to create other solutions. So I expect to see for this channel. I expect that you have liked, and so it was enough to make put a like, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.